This video illustrates how to track the learner's progress in the AVP Q&A software. There are 6 activities within the software, and 3 of the activities will provide tracking of the learner's progress when topics are used within those activities. One of the activities will track the learner's progress whether they enter as a guest user or as a returning user. The other 2 activities will track the learner's progress only if they enter as a returning user. We will look first at the activity that will track progress when you enter as a guest user. This is the VeriFact activity. Select the topic for which you wish to track the learner's progress. The question will appear but not the answer. The learner has to remember the answer or articulate to a tutor or friend the answer to this question. The learner or the tutor or peer assess the learner's response to the question by grading it A, B, C or D. If the learner is unsure of the answer of the question, they can click Reveal, but this may affect how the learner, the peer or the tutor choose to grade the response. Grade the response by simply clicking and placing a tick in the grading boxes. Continue to grade all of the questions and answers. Each question and answer pair will be presented once. Once a grade has been provided for each question and answer set, click Activity Complete and a Print button will appear. By clicking on the Print button, you will be provided with a printout of the grade that you awarded each of the questions and answers. So that was the VeriFact activity, which will track any learner's progress. To look at the other 2 activities that will track the progress of learners, we need to enter as a returning user. The 2 activities that will track the learner's progress are in independent training. Within the Rotate game, select the topic for which you wish to track the learner's progress and click Start. Each question will be presented once. If the learner answers that question incorrectly, that question will be presented again at random within the other questions until all questions have been answered correctly. Once the activity is complete, you will be asked whether you wish to track that attempt. Not all attempts have to be tracked, and it can be useful just to periodically track so that you can see progress over time. We'll click Yes. Click on the Options button and select My Profile. You will now see the attempt at which each question was answered correctly. So for example, the second question and answer, the sign for loose chippings, was answered correctly on the first attempt, as opposed to the first question and answer for the sign for the level crossing was answered on the 3rd attempt, and we can see that next to each of the questions and answers. This record can be printed. Once we know this information, we can return to where we entered the content, select the topic we were tracking, and we would then be able to click on these green buttons to deselect questions and answers that were being answered correctly each time by the student, we may be able to add some more harder questions in if appropriate, or we can allow the user to focus on the questions and answers that they are not answering correctly on the first attempt. The other game that we'll track is the eclipse activity. This activity shows the question but no answers. Once the question has disappeared, the user has to identify the correct answer. Again, each question will be presented once. If the user answers the question correctly, that question will not be shown again. An incorrectly answered question will continue to be presented until the learner has answered all questions correctly. So you can now see that I'm left with this one question, two-way traffic, which I haven't answered correctly yet. Once all questions have been answered correctly, click Activity Complete, and you will be asked, do you wish to track the attempt? Click Yes, click on the Options button, click My Profile, and again you will see the attempt upon which each question was answered. And we can see that the two-way traffic was answered on the 5th time that question and answer was presented. This video has looked at how to track the progress of a learner within the AVP Q&A software. The next video will illustrate how to monitor the progress of multiple users within the AVP Q&A software.